Have you ever stopped mid-scroll and felt a hollow knot in your chest because someone younger seems fitter, more successful, or more carefree? That moment is common, but what if I told you those comparisons are stealing something far more valuable than time? They're stealing your joy, your presence, and the quiet power of your own season of life. Today I want to walk beside you, gently and clearly, to understand why we compare, how it hurts us, and most importantly, what we can do to stop letting someone else's highlight reel determine our worth. Point 1. Why comparing feels automatic and what that really means. Comparing ourselves is part of being human. From an early age, we learn by watching others. It's how we figure out what's safe, what works, and what matters. But in modern life, that natural skill becomes a trap. Social media and advertising feed us constant, curated images of youth and perfection. Our brain is wired to notice differences quickly, and every like or flattering photo triggers a tiny rush of envy or self-judgment. Example, meet Claire, 53. She scrolls through pictures of colleagues running marathons and instantly thinks, I've lost my edge. Her body tightens and she feels smaller. The reality? Those images are edited for impact. Claire's automatic reaction is normal, but it's also trainable. Recognizing that comparison is a reflex, not a fact, gives you the power to respond differently. Practical note, when you notice a comparison, name it out loud. That's a comparison. Naming interrupts the reflex and creates space to choose another thought. Point 2. The memory problem, why we romanticize youth. Memory plays tricks on us. We tend to remember the good parts of our past and forget the struggles. That golden age, we imagine, rarely included the worries, the exhaustion, or the awkward failures. This selective memory makes the younger years seem flawless, in contrast to the honest, complex life we now carry. Short story. Tom, 60, often told himself he had it easier when he was younger. When he asked his wife to help him remember, she described late nights working 2 jobs, medical scares, and sleepless parenting years. Hearing those details, Tom realized his memory had smoothed the edges. The better. Younger years weren't so simple after all. Takeaway. Ask yourself what you're leaving out when you compare. The gaps you imagine usually hold important context that softens the contrast. Point 3. Different eras, different challenges. It's not a simple trade. Younger people face real struggles we might not see. Economic uncertainty, social pressures, mental health crises, global worries like climate change. Comparing your present to their advantages, energy, looks, ignores the unique burdens they carry. Conversely, younger people often lack the strengths you now possess. Perspective, emotional regulation, a track record of surviving hard things. Example, a young neighbor, Jake, looks enviably fit, but shares he's anxious about job instability and loneliness. Meanwhile, Maria at 58 has fewer social media followers, but deep community ties and reliable routines that buffer stress. Both lives have gains and losses. Comparing one metric erases the rest. Practical reflection. When you compare, list 2 things the other person likely struggles with. It helps balance the picture. Point 4. Superficial metrics versus meaningful measures. We often measure ourselves by the wrong yardstick. Appearance, speed, follower counts. These are fragile, surface-level markers. Instead, measure by what brings meaning, relationships, contribution, curiosity, resilience. Those grow richer with time. Example, Robert, 65, used to envy a younger colleague's steady promotions. But when he measured what mattered, how many lives he'd influenced as a teacher, the relationships he'd built, his sense of value deepened. He shifted from chasing external validation to celebrating enduring impact. Action step. Create a meaning list. Write 5 qualities that matter most to you. Kindness, wisdom, closeness, learning, service. Revisit it when comparison creeps in. Does the other person's image change your list? Often it won't. Point 5. Practical, gentle tools to break the habit. Breaking the comparison habit doesn't require willpower alone. It needs small, repeatable practices. Here are clear steps you can start today. 3-minute reframe. When comparison hits, take 3 slow breaths. Then ask, what would I tell a younger friend in this moment? Often you'll offer compassion outwardly that you deny yourself inwardly. Gratitude anchor. Each morning, write one thing you value about your life that comparison can't take away: a supporting friend, your morning routines, knowledge. Social media audit. Unfollow accounts that trigger persistent negative feelings. Replace a 10-minute scroll with a 5-minute call, a walk, or reading a short poem. Micro wins log. And each day by listing one small thing you did well. These logs shift attention from external scoring to internal growth. Gentle exposure. Practice standing next to someone younger and simply listening without judging yourself. You'll notice your automatic comparisons quiet when you focus on real connection. Short example. Elaine tried the 3-minute reframe and found that within weeks her knee-jerk envy softened. She started offering a mentoring hour to a younger colleague instead of withdrawing, and both felt held. Point 6. Reclaiming identity through purpose and connection. One antidote to comparison is to invest in things that only you can offer: mentorship, storytelling, care, expertise. Purpose is age-proof. It grows with stories, failures, and lessons. When you mentor, teach, or volunteer, you experience your value in action, and external comparisons lose power. Story. Frank, a retired engineer, began volunteering at a local makerspace teaching basic woodworking to teens. He discovered his hands still move with skill, his patience is a gift, and the students value practical wisdom he'd accumulated. His sense of usefulness and joy returned, not because he matched youth, but because he contributed in ways only experience allowed. Practical idea. Pick one small way to contribute this month: an hour teaching a skill, writing a letter to a younger person, or joining a community group. Notice how your sense of worth responds. Point 7. Self-compassion, growth goals, and realistic action. Finally, stop being harder on yourself than you be on others. Self-compassion is a practice. Speak kindly, allow mistakes, and set goals that support growth rather than punishment. Replace "I should still be" with "I am learning how to." Set growth goals, learn a new skill, walk 3 times a week, call one friend weekly. Instead of vanity goals, look 10 years younger by next month. Celebrate consistency. Small steps repeated beat dramatic, unsustainable leaps. Example. James used to berate himself for slower mornings. He shifted to a plan: gentle stretching each morning, 2 social calls weekly, and a writing habit of 200 words per day. After 3 months, he had more energy, better sleep, and renewed confidence. Not by being younger, but by being more intentional. Comparing yourself to younger people rarely gives you clarity. It gives you a distorted lens. The path out of that trap is both practical and profoundly kind. Recognize the reflex, reframe the memory, measure what truly matters, and invest in purpose and small, steady habits. Your life at this stage holds unique riches: wisdom, steadiness, perspective, and the capacity to love with deeper patience. I'd love to hear from you. When did you last notice yourself comparing to someone younger, and what helped you shift? Share one small practice you'll try this week in the comments. I read them and I'm learning with you. If this video helped, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend who might need this gentle reminder. Together we can build a kinder way of aging, one honest conversation at a time.